Hello, and welcome to this developer's vlog, which looks a bit different than they usually do, I think. And this is because I've just been live streaming on Twitch, and I thought, why not just keep the setup the way it is? Then I'll be able to show off what a live stream usually looks like um, on my Twitch channel and also my YouTube channel. Usually I have something going on here to the left, like some coding now, or some painting. Just turn this camera different ways, to show different things. We can have it point at the painting for now, like so. Uh, and then I have some assorted pictures, maybe paintings, interesting photographs strewn about, and then this some kind of video, often something I've filmed whilst walking or cycling. This particular one is from Oskarshamn in Sweden, which I visited last year in the autumn. At the bottom there, you see some at present irrelevant information. I usually play some music during my streams, and the music I play demands that I announce somewhere what music it is, so that the artists can get some benefit from the exposure. Anyway, to update you on my current project, the program I'm making, which is to be an art program for making graphics for future coding projects, games. Um, I've been working quite a bit on it these last several days, but you haven't seen much because I've just gotten to the part where it started to get really graphical. You've seen those little moving dots before if you've followed me, but those were just sort of testing concepts. After I had made sure that it sort of worked the way I wanted, I set about raising the level, the quality level of the program, because this is much more ambitious, not just with in terms of function, but in terms of quality. I want to create a almost professional or actually professional level product here. Not because I want to sell it, but because I want to learn how to do that. And so over the last several days, I have been just refining the code, making it more stable. And I thought of an analogy. Basically, if you think of the code as a train, where every feature of your program is a car pulled by the locomotive, which is the processing unit of the computer, or the computer, if you like, then if if in previous programs my cars they all had their function, but they didn't fit well together. So imagine that for the program to work, you had to have some engineer walking from car to car and performing some task in each one, um, no matter what it was. But uh, they weren't standardized cars in any way, so the poor fellow would have to walk on the roof, or go on the right side of one on the outside. And in some cars he would walk inside, and there would be a really tiny entrance in one. It's just cumbersome and error prone. Perhaps even the couplings of the cars were uh, finicky. So maybe you would have decouplings at times, i.e. Crashes. So imagine that the work I've been doing over the last several days is to come up with a standard template for a car. First of all, one that always fits together with all the other cars, so that it's easy to go from car to car, um, you know, without trouble, and also that they can house nearly any kind of function without much configuration or adaptation. So, and I think I have achieved that. Hence, my code, although the program is not big yet, but it is structured in such a way that it can easily accept many new features without becoming uh, too complex to understand. It will still be easy to read the code, understand how it works, and add features without adding significantly to the crash or bug accumulating effect. Uh, so basically constructing stability, or the groundwork, framework for stability and flexibility. That's what I've been doing. Unfortunately, that's not particularly visible or visual in nature. However, I have been doing visual stuff now. Um, and as I just started coding, making the code which would allow you to draw on screen, making drawings, I discovered after implementing the first aspect of that, that the program became very slow. Moving the mouse cursor around on screen became tortuous. In programming and also in film and such, we often talk about frames as a measure of speed, the of speed that the program moves at. And this means frames per second. So how many times per second is the frame, the screen updated? You'd want like at least 10 frames per second for something to be tolerable or somewhat tolerable to look at. And modern programs run, if they're not very advanced graphically, they often run in the hundreds of frames per second. I achieved about a third of a frame per second in my program once I started implementing a bit more visual information. And I was stumped. I thought, what is this the end? The way that I built my own graphical algorithm seemed doomed for failure. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just have to skip all that and do it the regular way. That I will do eventually, but I wanted to try and solve it myself. I set about trying to do that. And in hindsight, I actually managed to solve it quite quickly. And for the first time, my studies in even in lower level languages, in assembly language, became truly useful, because the solution I thought of would not have come to mind spontaneously if I had not been working in assembly language programming, which is a programming language that is very close to the computer hardware. That's the simplest explanation of what that is. I'm going to show you in a minute, though, that the solution is sort of half-baked. It's not finished. It works with regards to the speed. I got the speed back up again to completely acceptable level. But the way that I addressed color memory isn't perfect. So what you're about to see is supposed to be a black screen with a turquoise square on it, which I can move around with my mouse. But as I run it, you'll see that that's not quite what's happening. This is what the screen looks like. You can see I have this big square that I can move around. It is sort of blue, and the background is supposed to be completely black, pitch black. It's not, as you can tell. Uh, and I've experimented with this. I think I can show you a few other settings that resulted in different colors, basically the same sort of pattern, but with different colors. I was very happy that my solution worked so well with regards to speed, that despite having not really made any significant headway over the last several hours, I'm still in a good mood because I made such a good solution, and because this looks so nice. It looked so nice that I started a stream, an online broadcast, just to connect with my followers and show these beautiful colors off, and we had plenty of fun just playing with the settings and seeing what they create. Let's see, we can do something else here and get a different result. Not so much with regards to color, but with regards to how the screen is presented. Yes, here you can see this. I'm afraid the colors aren't perfect in perfectly captured. It's very no, it's pink and orange and pink here, very pink here, and then sort of bluish. You can sort of see the colors. Maybe if I turn that off. No, somewhat. I think you get the point. I've been having a lot of fun, despite not solving this. I do see a couple of solutions or roads to solutions, and they're not. Neither is particularly challenging. I don't think it's just that I have to learn a few new things that I haven't learned before in with regards to this programming language. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share and show that finally I have gotten to the point where I can start showing you new new things. The new additions to the program should result in new visual, new um, features that I can show off in a visual manner, with video, and that will be much more interesting than the last few updates, I think. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and that you look forward with anticipation to the future updates. That's the best one, right? This is the best one, I think. Most colorful, most interesting. Uh, with that, I bid you a good time of day and goodbye.